Hi friends, Mindy here. I have a process video for you today for day 9 of Tetelestai from Bythewell4god. I just pulled out my journal here that I'm working in, and I'm going to pull out my little flashcards, and I have a page from a hymnal sitting back there. There's a technique that I want to try to do today, and so the first thing that I need to do is I need to kind of seal this paper, this white paper. So I have pulled out a little craft mat there and to kind of protect my page, and then I have some distress collage medium, and I'm going to just apply a thin layer of this all over my page. You could use really anything to do this. That's what I had handy. And then I'm going to make sure that's really nice and dry, and then coming back in with my glue stick, and I'm just randomly placing this around. It's not covering the whole entire page, it's just covering little sections of it. And then I'm going to take that hymnal paper and stick it down, and then I'm going to burnish it really well with a bone folder. And I lost some footage here. I've been having problems with my phone, but it's been a while since I've done a process video for Bythewell4god for this devotional, so I went ahead and just kind of persevered. So I'm sorry about the lost footage, but basically what I did off camera was I peeled up that paper, and I also decorated this little pocket with a glassine envelope. But what I'm just going to set that off to the side for a second. So you can kind of see I had to do another little section of it because I missed this section. So you can see I'm just kind of peeling it off, and what it just leaves behind a really cool texture for this paper. It makes the edges different. Of course, this is not something, if that's too distressed for you, you certainly wouldn't have to. You could even just tear it or whatever, but this was just a look that I think is really fascinating. And so I wanted to go ahead, and after all of that was dry and I had peeled up all of the paper, I went back in with another layer of Distress Collage Medium. I mostly chose this because it just dries really fast, but you could use, Collage Medium, or like matte medium, Mod Podge, even if you're so inclined. I'm not a big fan of Mod Podge, but anyway, so I'm basically I want to make sure that all of the background on this page is the same. So this is just kind of sealing down that hymnal page onto that white paper. And then I'm coming in with Distress Paint. This is in Antique Linen, and I have the really old bottles, that have the little dauber top on them, and so I can actually just use that to go around, and I'm just kind of going over the whole entire page, more in the areas that are white, just kind of bringing everything together. And it's going to also knock back some of that really dark part of the hymnal, just bringing everything together. And then I went in with a little bit of a paintbrush, just kind of up next to the spine there where I couldn't get in there with the dauber. But I just wanted to kind of make that all seem more like one. And then I dried that really well before moving on. You can see I was kind of tapping my fingers trying to figure out what I wanted to do next. So this glassine envelope it came in the devotional kit as like the texture for this kit, and I just added one of the clear stickers to the front of it, and then I cut out a little notch so it's easier to get my stuff out of there. And so I decided I wanted to distress this page on the right a little bit. And so I'm going in with some vintage photo right now, and for the edges I find it just easier to use the flat blender personally. But and then I also decided it needed just a little bit more interest, and so I came in with one of these stencils. This is an old stencil from Bythewell4god. I think it's the lovely lace one, I think, but I mean, you could use anything really. And this is really just to add some more texture and interest to the background and kind of tone down some of that antique linen just a little bit. It really matches the lighter colors on the page that's opposite, but it was just kind of stark because the colors on that left side are really kind of rich, and so I just kind of wanted to just give this a little bit more interest. So I'm just going in there, no rhyme or reason, again with vintage photo, and with a little blender brush. And then I pulled out a couple pieces of ephemera, the flower and the frame, and I trimmed off some of the white around the edges of those, and I'm just trying to get a feel for where I want to put everything. I know from having read through the devotional, there's a lot of notes and stuff that I have for this particular day, a lot of scripture. So I'm just trying to figure out how I'm going to balance all of that. And then I want to use this sticker because we're referencing this verse where he's saying, my God, why hast thou forsaken me? And so what I did is off camera, I went ahead and just wrote out all of the verses and all of my notes and everything that I wanted to include for this day, and tucked some of them into the little glassine envelope. I took that sticker. I had to trim it down a little bit, like trim it apart, and then I just put that on some background paper that coordinates with the kit, and that's going to kind of be my title over there on the left side. So I'm adding some glue. I'm using the My Barely Arts precision glue, and I'm just kind of applying that to where, so that it's covered up basically by the journaling card that I have tucked in there. And I'm just holding that down because glassine is a little bit tricky. Because it's slick, you really want to kind of hold it for a minute, make sure that it's good and stuck. Barely Arts glue dries pretty quickly, but with glassine, it needs a little extra love, at least for me anyway. So over here on the right, you can see all my journaling cards and everything. I have these 2 strips of paper because I'm going to make a double pocket over here on this side, and I want them to kind of, the pockets to be staggered so that everything doesn't fall to the same place, because then it makes it kind of hard to get your things in and out. So I'm starting with the innermost page, which is this floral, which is the same, paper from the left side, and I'm just creating this little pocket right here. So I'm, same way you would do any other pocket, I just glued the 3 sides down, and then I'm layering this one over the top, and that will just make it so that the piece that gets behind that flowered paper isn't going to fall all the way to the edge. It'll just keep it stacked in there a little bit better. So I'm just using that same Barely Arts glue. I like the liquid glue for this because it gives you a second to kind of adjust everything and move it around. And then I'm going to go in and trim off the excess here. There was just a little bit off the edge, and then I'm gluing down this floral piece down here in the bottom right hand corner, and just trying to get a feel for, I'm trying not to close my pocket. And then I had this other piece, which was this frame, and I really wanted to use it. I just keep going back and forth with it. It was one of the things that I really felt like pulled the 2 sides of this layout together because it had the same kind of colors from both sides. And so I just set it off to the side there for a second, and then in the end I ended up just going ahead and I glue it down. Right now I'm just tucking all my little notes and scriptures in these pockets, and then I end up gluing this down and writing a quote that says, "Never neglect simple gratitude for a gift that can't be wholly comprehended." That's kind of a paraphrase from the devotional. And that's pretty much it. Off camera, I did my journaling, my little pocket Bible card, and so there's a close-up of that here, and then I just have some personal notes on the back of this. So if you liked this video, I would really appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up. That just helps other people find my channel. And until next time, bye.